Well, you know what you can play with 4 players?
What's that?
You can play Silver from Bezier Games.
Woo.
So I got this at PAX Unplugged, and for those that have played Cabo, it's basically that, but with special player powers. But I will if you don't even have any idea what that is, imagine if you took like Gin Rummy and One Night Ultimate Werewolf and put them in a blender. Then with a little bit of memory. That would be sort of kind of what this game is. So the thing is you got a deck of cards, and they're all labeled like 0 to 13. And the way the game, I won't even get into the powers piece, but the way the gameplay is that you get dealt 5 cards in front of you. They get dealt face down, and you're only allowed to look at 2 of them. So you don't know what at the beginning of the game. You don't know what all you have.
Okay.
Everybody does this, and then at the start, the way the gameplay is on your turn. You draw a card from the stack. You either replace it, or you discard it, or when we get to the powers, you can use it for an effect. But basically, it's got that style of draw 1, discard 1 kind of thing. So, but what you're trying to do is you want to, at some point in the game, you want to make a call, like a call to vote. And when everybody reveals their cards, you want to have the least number when you add up all the numbers on your card.
Yeah.
You want to have the lowest number. You're not allowed to call a vote until you get down to at least 4 cards. And the way you get rid of cards is whenever you think you've got pairs or matching cards of any type, when you go to replace, like I said, you draw a card, you go to replace, you push forward the cards that you think are matching, and then you flip them over, and if they're all matching, then they get discarded, and then the card you drew gets put in its place.
Okay. I remember there was something that you had to wait until. I thought it was just a certain number of rounds.
Yeah, it's no one can call until you can't call until you have at least 4 less cards.
Okay.
I think at Cabo you can just call it whenever. But so like what I just described is basically Cabo. That's their version of Cabo, because it just the numbers and that sort of thing. And if you flip over the cards and they're wrong, then not only do you get to keep the cards, but you also get the additional cards. So you actually go up in cards.
Yeah.
So, and then the way the scoring works is when someone calls, everyone gets 1 more turn. And then you flip over all the cards, add them up, and then if the person who called to vote has the lowest, they get a 0. Everybody else gets their points, whatever their point score is, and then you play 4 rounds or 4 hands.
Okay.
And
yeah, we
who
did a single hand of this at Dice Tower Con.
Yeah, we demoed
and
it.
this is also this has become one of our favorite games to play like at the end of the game night, to where like you don't have to play like it also could be a good entry while you're waiting for people to start up.
Yeah.
So like you don't have to play the 4 like we're just playing a few rounds till everybody gets up. So the way the Silver makes the difference is each of the cards has a power on it, and so like some of them they only take effect when they're face up, so you can actually flip cards. So it's got that sense of because you can also, instead of drawing a card from the top of the draw deck, if someone discards something you want, you can draw that instead. But any card that is public knowledge stays public knowledge.
Yeah.
So if it's face up when you draw it, it stays face up in your in your line.
I remember that now. Yeah.
But each card has a special effect. Like some of them is like turn your card face up, or this card there's a doppelganger that this card is the exact same as a different card, so I can use it to match up. Make a pair. There's like the 3 is the bodyguard, which means you can protect a card from somebody. Like you put it on top of another card, and no one can affect that card. So all these different powers. And so like I said, when you flip the card up when you draw it, instead of adding it, you could use it for an effect. Like I get to swap one of my cards with one of your cards, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's the basics of the game, and the idea behind this is that there's the one I have is the Silver Amulet, and there's also Silver Bullet, and the idea being is that you could make a custom deck to play with by, like, I don't like this power, throw the 3 out and replace it with the 3 from Bullet. instead.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's actually I don't know if all the games come with this or because on the side they talk about like sleeved decks and unsleeved decks and removing foam pads from underneath. And I was like, foam pads underneath? Because there's like a little game trays insert type thing.
Right.
I pulled it out. There's a card underneath. And I think it's a replacement 13 for the doppelganger that you can use. So there's that. I have mixed feelings about this game because I've gotten screwed so many times where I thought I had it. Like I had it. You know, like I've got like maybe 2 or 3 points. And then on that last round, there's like in the base Amulet set, there's only like 1 or 2 numbers that really let you screw over the other players. And it always seemed like somebody had those right when I called for a vote.
Oh, no.
So
there's zeros in this, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay.
The 0, I believe. The 0 is if multiple zeros are face up, you immediately call no matter what the conditions are.
Okay.
Like the game ends if there are multiple zeros flipped up available.
Interesting.
I've never had that happen.
There's only 2 of them.
There's only 2 of them, and the chances them. But there's only a few cards that let you flip things face up. So, so that's like I like the gameplay mechanics. It makes me want to try Cabo because like there's a new deluxe version, that sort of thing.
I've seen that.
The other caveat is that I know why they did it this way because the Amulet's supposed to be kind of like an introductory to the system. From what I've heard, Silver Bullet is more player interactiveness.
Okay.
And it kind of like playing this made me really want that instead because like I feel like you either want mostly player interactive cards or none. Because when you've got like the 1 or 2 that's in here, it just feels like the luck of the draw kind of thing where it's just like some people might like that because they like that like I think I got it and then I don't, but for me it just seems like that was a waste of a turn.
Well, to me it's from us playing the one hand that we did and from your description reminding me of everything, it makes me think of we had a game called 3 Wishes a while back.
Yeah, I think you told me about this.
Similar thing, you've got 3 cards in front of you, and you're like exchanging cards around the table trying to get a certain thing. You're trying to get 3 different kinds of wishes. And this like takes that up a notch. It actually adds some game to it.
Yeah.
Whereas 3 Wishes, I was kind of like,
I mean, it was fun at first, but then it got old.
Yeah.
So
But this seems like it could
I'm not
be good.
knocking it just like if we want to do a spectrum, like there's Cabo on one side and then there's like the Silver Bullet version on the other, which is like the pure mechanics portion of the game, or do we mix it up with player? I feel like if you're going to mix the game up with player powers, I want them to be more interactive with other people. Whereas so this is like a personal preference thing, and I get that's probably why they have it so that that's kind of the thrill of the game is that, or the appealment of the game is that I could take out, like some people are like, oh, I'm a house rule and take those cards out. Well, that's legit a piece of the game is you just take those cards out and replace it with another card from a different set.
Gotcha.
So because I don't know if they've announced anymore, but they've made it seem like there are more of these decks coming.
Okay.
More of these boxes. At least that's when they announced this. They made it seem like this is going to be a line that we're promoting or that we're going to be doing.
The interesting thing is you're talking about how you would want more player interaction, and I feel like I would enjoy this one more because it has less player interaction.
But see, that's where I'm saying, like, I can see that, but I imagine you're going to... It's one of those, like I said, it's just the fact that there's only 1 or 2 cards. So your chances of... There's, like, no way for me to counteract it. That's the thing is that...
There's not none, but there's not enough to...
Right. So, like, there's no way for me to mitigate it.
Okay.
Well, there's sure, the bodyguard I could use to mitigate it, but I feel like there's not enough to mitigate it to where, like, I just have to sit and take it if somebody does something.
So
Okay.
you can't necessarily...
My chances of getting the next card that I draw, chances are, is probably not going to help me in that circumstance at all.
You're not going to be able to stab someone back, is what you're saying.
Or, prevent it from, kind of thing. It's one of those when I get stabbed, it's probably going to affect me for the most of the game kind of thing.
Okay.
So
But
that's
it's a
where
quick
like
game too.
I feel like if the idea behind this is nice, it is also a quick game.
Can't really read the numbers on the side. I was like, is this do 2 players?
It does.
The font's like almost the same color as the box.
Yeah, 45 minutes. Yeah, it does. So
Really?
there's also
that you
actually
can play all 4 rounds.
and the best part about this is if you want to learn to play this game, there's an app for free.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, there's an app for free that is you versus an AI. So it kind of teaches you in fact, when I got this, I downloaded the app and it lets you go through the mechanics of the game. You don't really get the feel of the game because you don't get that player interaction. I definitely think you'd want to play this at least 3. If you're going to play, well, if you're, like I said, if you're playing in the more kind of Cabo style, I don't think it would matter to where you're just trying to like play quickly and see who can get the lowest score the fastest. But if you're wanting more of the player interactive, you're going to want at least the 3.
Gotcha.
Kind of on the scale. And I guess that's the selling point of the game is you can scale it, how you can move that dial in the scale. And the best part is I've always liked the artwork behind the One Night Ultimate.
Yeah.
And it's that same style, like
It is really pretty.
all the
nice.
different cards. Yeah. It's very colorful. The cards all have their stuff on them, but there's also a sheet because since they're face down, you can't just go like, wait, what was that card again? So there's a sheet that you could pass around and be like, I don't remember the number, but I remember the ability on it. Or you do like what I would do is like I just would memorize a sequence. So like I'd go, okay, XXX45, and you just remember in your head. You just in all the time XXX45, XXX45, XXX45. X1X45, X1X45. And then it's like, I don't remember what 4 does, so let me give that sheet. And then, okay, 4 does this. Okay, cool. I think they even tell you that in the book as a tactic. So, yeah, really, Corey loves this game. Like, I brought it, played it a couple times, and this became our, like, if we finished Arkham or finished Charterstone early, I brought this, and we got in a game or 2 after playing, so...
Awesome.
Yeah, that's Silver from Bezier Games. I want to play Bullet. That's the thing. I really want to see. I guess that's the. I enjoy it. I'm not fully. I'm intrigued by the concept of what the possibilities are. I guess that's where it is. Like, I definitely would say download the app and try it if you're interested, just to get the mechanics, but it makes me want to try the Bullet one, like I said, and it makes me also want to recommend potentially the Bullet one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because I feel like then you might get a more feel of some of the player powers. And then if you want something less, then you could go back and then get this.